G'day legends, Blake here with another video, and I've kept bedders and shrimp for over 5 years now, both separately and together. So today I'm going to give you my 7 tips for success keeping bedders with shrimp. Let's jump straight into the video. So the first thing to realize is that it is always a risk putting a bedder with shrimp. So if you're going to attempt it, always make sure that you have a backup plan. However, I believe the best starting block is to get your tank and let it be well established with plants first of all. Live plants are absolutely the best, but if you can't do that for some reason, then at a push you could potentially use like caves and silk plants and things like that. However, I like a nice, lush, dense aquarium that is full of hiding places, which are going to give the shrimp the best bet to escape and also give the bedder the most sort of enhancement and environment to interact with, so they're not going to have to go and entertain themselves with the shrimp hunting activity. And once you've got a nice established aquarium with plenty of hiding places, I'd go and get the shrimp first. I'd start off with a colony of 10 or so, and even better if you can wait for them to start having babies of their own, because it's going to mean that they're going to be safe in that environment, and there's going to be more shrimp coming if the bedder does start to pick 1 or 2 off before you realize that they're getting into that habit. Couple that with the understanding that bedders are going to inhabit the top half of the aquarium and shrimp are going to inhabit the bottom half of the aquarium, so keep hiding places at both layers as well. Bedders will laze around at the top and like to sort of relax on leaves and things like that, so if you can keep floating plants in there, that's really great too. There's things like bedder hammocks that you could put up there and keep them entertained up the top, and they'll barely even go down to the bottom to investigate what's down there, so that can be a real win as well. Tip number 2 revolves around feeding, and it's not just about keeping your bedder well fed so they're not looking for another meal in the cherry shrimp, but it's also considering how you're feeding. If you're only feeding sinking foods and when the bedder goes down for its meal, there's always shrimp around, well, eventually it's going to become a bit of a shrimp salad down there, isn't it? And if a shrimp accidentally gets eaten, well, maybe they'll find out that they're actually super delicious and they'll keep having a couple of shrimp meals. But if you're going to feed floating foods over in one corner for the bedder to eat and sinking foods over in another corner so that will get down to the shrimp before the bedder becomes interested in that, then they're going to totally disassociate food and those other inhabitants. So that can really help as well to not sort of train them that food plus shrimp equals more food. Number 3 stems off of understanding that bedders are at the top and shrimp are at the bottom, and that's consider a tank mate to buffer in the middle zone there. So bedders are naturally curious and they're pretty intelligent fish as well, so often out of boredom they might go shrimp hunting just because there's nothing else to do in their day. So if you keep a mid-dweller, something like maybe a pygmy cory or a small schooling fish like some kind of rasbora, then that could be plenty of entertainment for the bedder so that they're not going and finding out that the shrimp are again a meal. That can be plenty of that sort of enhancement that we're going to give to the fish so that they're not creating their own entertainment in other ways. As well as that, just make sure that obviously the mid-dweller isn't going to be a predator for your shrimp as well. So that's why small mouths are really great. Something like pencilfish, chili rasboras and things like that work really fantastic. Number 4 is being aware of your bedder's temperament. So sometimes there are just going to be bedders that just hate cherry shrimp for some reason. They've just got a vendetta against them, and no matter what you try, it's never going to work. That is going to happen occasionally, but I do think that you can put into place things that are going to help with this by things like, as soon as you pick up the bedder, socializing it with other tank mates, getting young bedders that haven't been within a confined box for a long amount of time, realizing that that sort of environment is, I'm in a small space here and I need to protect it at all costs, because in a small space, you know, there's competition for food, a potential mate might come across, although obviously we know that's not going to happen, and things like that. So they will get more defensive in more confined areas. Bedders that have been sort of less accustomed to that are likely to socialize it more easily, things like that. I also would probably avoid mirror training, which is sort of getting bedders to flare using a mirror, because to me, again, that's just gonna trigger them to get in defensive mode and wipe out everything in the territory because, you know, another male's around, maybe another female's gonna be around as well. Number 6, with that stuff in mind, is choose an appropriately sized aquarium. Putting a betta in a 1 liter cup and then expecting some shrimp to go in there perfectly fine, it's simply just not going to work. And I'd recommend at least a 20 liter aquarium or a 5 gallon. I prefer a 60 liter, or I think that's a 15 gallon. Upwards is even better. I just find that there's no reason to keep a betta in a small aquarium. It's only going to make maintenance more difficult. You're going to see a lethargic, sort of lazy fish that doesn't really sort of have any real enjoyment. You'll get a far more activity and color as a result of that enhancement, keeping your betta in a bigger aquarium. So bigger equals better. The next one is choosing a variety of betta that's going to have long fins. It's going to slow them down, which means that the cherry shrimp are more likely to escape, which is going to be fantastic. And eventually they'll stop even chasing them because they're never getting to them. So it's a kind of a futile effort. So choosing a long fin betta can be really great. And for that reason, I'd also choose male bettas over female bettas. Even though they might be more likely to be defensive around the territory, then I just think that the longer fins give the shrimp a better chance for survival. And I've certainly seen a lot of female bettas go ham for a few cherry shrimp too. So there you go, those are my tips for keeping bettas with shrimp. Although it's not an exact science, I do find that all of these things really help to allow these things to happen. And when it does, it's absolutely magical. So if you have had success, or if you've changed something and it's really worked for you, let me know down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I've got another video right there that you can check out as well. Other than that, if you like the video, it helps me out to smash like, hit subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.